Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome everyone to our Circle of Sisters podcast. I am your host, Chantel Sierta Sekhii, here with my beautiful sister,
Priestess Sherry Unk. It is so wonderful to see you, sisters, today. Thank you all for tuning in. You know, this is Circle of Sisters podcast, where we are soul sisters speaking out and fixing crowns in the process. Usually, we talk to you about some of the spiritual insights that we've learned along the years that we've developed in not only our individual spiritual practice, but our collective practice together. And today we have a special treat for you. Chantel, you want to tell them what we got for them today?
Yes. I am so privileged and honored to be able to sit at the feet of one of the renowned leaders in wellness and health here in the Atlanta area. One of my mentors and Riekhit practitioner, coach, mother. We are bringing to the stage to have a candid conversation about wellness and health from our Moot Kajara.
Give thanks. And I'm going to be bringing her on the screen, but I want to say, you said from Atlanta to the West Coast, because I had the pleasure of learning from her directly live and in person here at Now Valley Wellness. And so let's bring her on without further ado. Sekhii Arts Temple, Riekhit Kajara. Hashe.
Ashe. Welcome, Kajara. We are so thankful for your time and space in the place.
Okay.
And so the services that you offer.
Sorry, there was a little lag in the shuffle over there. Give thanks. Go ahead.
Could you hear me though?
We didn't.
Could you hear me? Okay, give thanks. I was just saying, just share with us a little about your business, Riekhit Arts Temple, and the services you provide and the importance of healing and wellness.
All right. So I first want to thank you all for allowing me to join you and share with your listeners. And I am Riekhit Kajara Nebehead. I'm the founder of the Riekhit Arts Temple. I am an educator, an author, a healer, priestess, social scientist, and a modern day freedom fighter.
Whoop, whoop. Yes. The fight for freedom is real.
It is so real. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
So, that's what I do. I am an author of 12 books, as well as a deck of oracle cards. And I do specialize in health and wellness, and especially teaching Black women how to heal naturally using the same techniques that our ancestors used. A big part of our healing process is to return to our traditions and our culture. So I do also teach our traditions, especially in the area of healing, and not just healing the body, but also healing our minds, because, we got to deal with that. Mental health has been a big issue. So we work with that. Also healing our spirits as well. Many of us have been beaten down, worn down, just all kind of things, which has affected our spirits and our willpower. So we also work with healing and restoring our energy in those ways. as well as our emotions. Gotta mention the emotions.
Yes, yes.
Because the emotional health affects the physical, spiritual, and mental health, so they're all intertwined. So I'm a student of Dr. Sebi and Dr. Africa, as well as Queen Afua, and they all teach us to heal holistically, so not just thinking about the physical self, which most people are usually just focused on the physical self, but we also have to consider working with our minds, our hearts, our spirits as well. And
You brought up two good topics
okay,
just in that, saying healing of our mind, and how often I've talked about how dis-ease starts in the mind, where
yeah.
we are misaligned with what we truly feel in our hearts that we want to do. So when we get this misalignment going on, it causes the dis-ease, and then that disease stagnates our energy. You spoke on how we move the energy, and I know you taught us well about how we can really work with energy, work with our elements, and realign our energy centers. Speaking of our aritus, our chakras, as many call them. So when we have those stagnations and stuck places within our energy, that creates the disease, right? But it first starts in the mind. What would you say in that area? Is that on point, or
Well,
what would
yeah,
you add?
absolutely. Our minds are the computers for our bodies. So if we have a mindset that we are healthy, then that of course leads us to be more healthy. If we love ourselves, if we don't love ourselves, it has different effects on us. And so yeah, I would have to agree, the mind, when things don't go right with our thinking, it would definitely affect us. Even people who are unaware, when we think about the lack of information about certain things, it affects our health, So, of course,
Mhm.
it does all go back to the mind for sure.
And you said you also brought up our ancestors, right? And how our ancestors are really very important in helping us shape our physical lives through our DNA, really, through our lineage. We really connect with a lot of the hurt, the pain, the trauma, the fear, the doubt, the anxiety, the suffering that our ancestors have, they actually had to go through, and we have that in our blood, right? And sometimes we manifest and relive similar cycles in our generations. So when we think of healing ourselves, how does that really help to heal our bloodlines?
So, we are connected to our ancestors through our blood, our DNA, our memory, and energy, right? And so we on this side have the ability to not only affect ourselves, but those that come before us and those that come after us. So every decision that we make, actually, one of my teachers told me this years ago, every decision that we make is going to affect those who come after us and those who came before us, because we're all connected. And so as we become more balanced and whole, then we're able to do the things that we need to do, make the offerings, make the prayers, whatever may be needed for our ancestors to help them in their healing process as well. Because a lot of people, I think, they really think when people cross over that just magic happens, everything is just automatically perfect.
They go to heaven and every
Right, they go
streets
to
of gold
heaven,
and all that,
everything
right?
is forgotten. But in our traditions, we are taught that it's a little different. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, ancestors of, like, the indigenous ancestors, for example, some of them were slaughtered, and so they didn't have the opportunity to make peace and stuff like that before they crossed over. so we can help to, you know, elevate them when we know how to, so that
Mhm.
they can, be healed and so.
And that is something that you teach and that you are really masterfully exuding in your life as you've reached so many hundreds and thousands of women and men, who are being called to this new way of life, really bridging that gap between our ancestors and the generations to come, standing in the gap. And I salute you for that. And I'm very inspired by it. So when we think about how health and wellness is really beginning to take a different shape in our melanated communities, what do you think is the biggest, um, I guess, challenge as we introduce these new ways of medicine, which are really ancient and old, but they've been here all along. But we are now really beginning to see how beneficial they are to us and really how they are really connecting us back to our ancient ways. What would you say would be the biggest challenge right now?
I would say it goes back to the mind, the information or lack of information that people have, because most people are taught by social media or television programs, and it may not always be correct information that is received. So, when people don't understand that fast food is toxic, they will eat it because it's fast, it's cheap, and it's right around the corner. But when people get the information that that food is 50% plastic and no one should be eating it at all,
And we
then
see the proof, right?
it
And it doesn't
is.
alarm. I see that it goes back to what we've talked about before on the program of the Walking Dead, right? It's
Mm.
like if you are in that vibration of the Walking Dead, you're not going to know the difference. It's like even when it's presented to you, we've seen the hamburgers wrapped up from 1922 or what, and still looking like a hamburger.
All
It's like,
right.
come on now, no mold, no fungus.
I
Even the fungus
Nothing.
don't want it.
Right, exactly.
I do want to interject for a second. I know I'm having a little delays. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I know my uh video is glitching, but one of the things when we talk about getting to a point of being able to heal your ancestors and your ancestral lineage, you can't do that until you raise your. And you, Riekhit, you were the first holistic practitioner that I had the pleasure of working with in your 2-day retreat that you had in LA. And I got I did Sekhii 1, and I got your book, I got your cards. What I love most about the way you've put together all of the information is so clear, concise, straight to the point. You give us the symbols, you give all of, I would say, the substance of the information, and it's really, really digestible. And so I talk a little bit about your books, and Sekhii 1 and 2, if you don't mind for me, because I think it's really beneficial for anyone, especially if you're just getting into working with metaphysical tools, learning more about symbolism. Just I'll hand that back over to you. But yes, I just wanted to bring that up.
And
Okay.
the spin on how that crosses with what we know of Yusui Reiki, just kind of maybe even a
Okay.
comparison.
Yeah. So Raseki, it actually means Kemetic Reiki. Raseki means Reiki, right? The Ra is the energy from the sun. The Sekhii refers to our personal life force energy. And so, with the Kemetic Reiki classes, we have worked to restore the Reiki to its original state as much as possible, because it's the original way that we were able to heal and manifest and live with intention in ancient times. So understanding how to work with the laws of Ma'at, which is where we start, that's our foundation, because we want to get our minds right. We want everyone to live with integrity. We want people to understand that there are rules to live by, not
Yes.
just 10, but 42,
Yes.
So that's where we start, because that is a part of our healing, and that helps us to heal the way we think. And then, of course, we work into healing our and purifying our hearts, getting our emotions right, getting our hearts lighter, clearing our auric fields and stuff like that. So it's really, we call it Kemetic Reiki, but it's really information that everyone should know. We really should be taught as children how to make a spiritual bath, how to clear our auras, how we work with crystals and sounds for healing. And so, with the level 1 class, it is the class that focuses on self healing. Because if you do want to be a healer, you certainly have to do the work on yourself first. So we go through, many lessons about healing yourself, your mind, your heart, your body, and your spirit, so that we could be more in alignment and more balanced. And that's why we learn about the chakras, because when we understand about the aritus, the chakras, they help us to know how we're connected to everything in the universe. So when we understand that, then we can understand how we can use everything in the universe to help us to heal. Like the Most High
Ashe.
just gave us sunshine, water, fire,
Fire. Yes.
aromas like flowers and different herbs and plants, and so many things that we can use for our healing. We don't always have to run to the drugstore for healing. And so, we want our people to know that, and to remember the old things. Sometimes grandma would just put hands on you and say some prayers and pray that pain right on away.
That
Sometimes you put your hands on yourself and say, I don't want no pain, no more pain. Just go away, leave me alone. Because it starts with the mind, and you push it
Ashe.
away. It's energy, right? Sometimes
Yes.
we accept it. We tell people, I'm this, I'm that, and we're claiming the sickness as opposed to pushing it away. So when people understand, our power, it's not difficult. It's just knowing, really. And
That is deep. Understanding the power that we have as creators of our experience. That's really what it
absolutely.
comes back to for me. I know everything is energy, everything is frequency, everything is vibration, and it has to come back to us accepting it as our truth and believing what we hear or what we see as the truth, and that is what we experience, right? So
Right.
even that can work both ways. It can work in a positive where if we continue to see the things good, see our health, see our wellness, see our abundance, see our prosperity, and see ourselves living in that space, before we know it, it is our reality. But it can also work
Absolutely.
the opposite for if I'm sick or the doctor gave me a diagnosis. Now I'm researching the diagnosis, seeing all that and adding it up to my reality. And then that's what I get to experience. So, what I love about Raseki and the Raseki form of Reiki is that we utilize everything. It's all of what we are in this mesh or web of all that our
The
clients are or all that the
interconnectedness.
world has, and
Mhm.
we create something new from that, and we allow those things that don't align to be released. And that's something that is very hard to do, I think, for a lot of people who have not began to do the work, because no one wants to lose anything, even the
Right.
uncomfortable stuff, right?
That's true.
It's like, I don't want to be suffering with this, but I don't want to lose it either, really.
Yes.
So it's understanding ourselves first off and what we really want to experience. and then beginning to work with energy to help us live that life or have those experiences. So, can you tell me a
Ashe.
little bit of how you came into this way of life? How did you begin, and what was your reasoning or your why for taking this path of healing?
Oh, yes. So I was diagnosed with a disease when I was 16, and I was in a lot of pain. And I, one night when I was in this pain, something just told me to put my hands where I hurt and just pray.
Mm.
And so I did, and I prayed. I called on the angels. I called Allah. I called Jehovah. I called Jesus. I called all the spirits I had ever heard of to come
They
and
can
help.
bring
I was
healing, huh?
like, I don't know which one of y'all is the right one, so I'm calling everybody. Come through. I need some help. And I remember, just praying, and I went to sleep. And when I woke up the next day, I felt better. I didn't have no more pain. I ain't never go back to the doctor. I was just like, I'm good. Okay, give
I'm
thanks and
healed.
praises. And so when I turned 30, actually, I went to New York to the big festival that they do up there in Brooklyn. And there was some brothers out there who were doing massages, and they were doing Reiki. And I was like, woo, the brothers were dressed up, looking very royal, and just drew me to them, right? So I went, and they had this little brochure that gave a description of Reiki. And I was like, this, I think this is what I did when I was younger. This sounds like, something that I already did. So maybe I should look into it. It might help me out, whatever. I had been through a lot of trauma as a child and as a young adult. And I just really wanted to heal. I knew that it was something that I could do to make myself feel better. So I was on that path of seeking healing. And I read Queen Afua's book, Heal Thyself, in 1993 when I graduated college. So, I was on that path. I met her, maybe like 97, and just was really seeking a higher way of being and living. So I did go through, I had the guys that were doing the Reiki to come to where I was in Virginia at the time to teach the Reiki class. And when the brother came, he said that his guides told him to give me the attunements for level 1, 2, and 3 all in that weekend. Now, I was just thinking we were going to just do level 1. Um, but, he proceeded to give me all of these attunements, all of these instructions and lessons. And that really helped to set me on this path. And around the same time is when Sacred Woman came out.
Mm.
So when the book came out in 2000, I immediately called all my sisters to the house, like, look, we got some stuff to do. Come through, let's do
Let's go.
it. And so that working with Sacred Woman, working with Queen Afua and the other sisters helped me to make that connection with Sekhmet.
Mm.
And so me working with Sekhmet and doing the Reiki, it just really, I just began to get these instructions like, this is what you're going to do first, then you're going to do this. I need you to do that. And, the rest is history pretty much.
And here we are.
And here
See,
we are.
look, and here we are.
Yes,
So
yes.
I thank you for your obedience. I thank you for just really being foundationally in the work, right? I see you as very much a mother of this work, a mother in this healing arena, a mother who is really living life and still showing up like, hey, this is what we got to do, and even through the trials and tribulations and struggles, to know that when we have the tools, there's nothing that's not impossible. but it doesn't take away from our experiences that we have to experience on earth.
Right.
And knowing that, we are a part of a circle that really supports and can hold the space, because sometimes we don't even have the words.
Mhm.
It's just the vibration of love, or the frequency of peace in the midst of storms, is what's necessary. And I've seen you in that space, and I take great courage and encouragement by seeing the work be done, and
Right.
still continuing to go on in spite of what life gives us. So
Ashe.
I'm definitely encouraged by that.
Do I think?
Ashe. You thank you so much for your transparency and letting us know exactly how you started, but you got some great things I know that's going on very soon. So let us know what's going on now and what you have coming up.
Okay, so we have a trip to Sedona for the summer solstice. We are super excited. We're going up there to the high energy vortexes,
Yes, I've
to
heard
do.
about Sedona.
Oh,
That it's like
Sedona
a
is special.
energetic ley line, right?
It's
It is,
beautiful.
and
I've
there
seen
is
it.
this is really, really high energy there. Like it's several spots that you could go to, and you can literally feel a surge of energy. And so I do go at least once a year, sometimes twice if I'm lucky,
Good.
because it is such a beautiful place, and especially for doing energy healing work. I like to go to places where the energy is already high and a place for healing.
I
So
should.
the Sedona trip is actually sold out, just sold out this weekend. The next trip is Jamaica. So
Mm,
Jamaica is another one of my favorite spots. Sedona has the Red Rock Desert vibe. Jamaica is exactly the opposite. It's the water, the
water,
beach.
the beauty, the
You have the lush
greenery.
greenery. I'm telling you, just seeing the lush greenery, like those plants look like they've been living for thousands of years. The
Yes.
leaves are huge,
And healthy and vibrant. And
healthy,
it's just
and
like
vibrant, and
life.
just all
When is
around.
the
Yes.
Jamaica
So I'm always happy to go to
retreat?
Jamaica.
When is the Jamaica retreat?
Oh, that is August 14th through the 19th.
August 14th through the 19th.
Yeah, and
Okay.
we'll be staying near Ocho Rios in Runway Bay, which is actually a place where the slaves used to run away to. So
Okay.
it's
Lots
all
of
the
energy.
the
Yes.
ancestors always take us to a place where we make our offerings is gonna count. It's not just like a tourist place, but a place where there's some spiritual ancestral significance. So we'll be doing that. Next, we're going to Pensacola Beach in
Ooh.
October. I love Pensacola Beach because it has white sand, real
Mm.
soft sand. Is not, I don't want to go to a high tourist area. I like to be able to get up and do the yoga on the beach, and it's like nobody else out there but us.
Yes.
So Pensacola has that for us. So we're gonna go there in October. Most likely, I will put up at least one or maybe two more retreats before the end of the year. I really want to go to Costa Rica. Also, I'm considering a cruise. Now, we did a
Ooh.
cruise, I think it was 2015, and had Dr. Delbert Blair and a few other superstars. It was outstanding, and I've been wanting to go on a cruise since then. So I'm definitely looking
Well,
into
I would
doing that.
love to do something with that, because me and
Okay.
Sherry had talked about that, a cruise.
We
Okay.
We
definitely
Okay.
talked
did.
Me
about a
too.
cruise.
Okay.
Yes, we had talked about that, and
Yes.
just doing like a sacred sabbatical, like where you go in and we don't have to worry about cooking, cleaning, or any of that. Just
Right.
come and take care of yourself, learn
Mm-hmm.
ways of taking care of yourself, and just see something you've never seen before. So I would
Mm.
love to hook up with some collabs on that, or even just get in on it, get in and give myself some
Yes.
healing for sure.
I know that's right. I would love to collaborate as well. This is our time to work together. There's no need for us to continue to be, divided. But, the unity is important for us all right now, the times that we're in. We must find a way to work together, support each other more, and all of that. So I'm always up for
Thank
that as well.
Thank you for
That is
saying that. That's the reason that Chantel and I really wanted to showcase our community, our global community of sisters just around the world, whichever pathway we've met them at. Um, we all have so much knowledge, and when we interconnect with one another, we can do so much, so much greater work. And I am honored, to be continuously learning from you. You are a divine elder to be able to look towards and to see what this work looks like when you actually live it. And so thank you so much, for everything that you have done for me personally and for our community, and all the knowledge that you share. Chantel, I turn it over to you.
okay. I co-sign everything that she was saying, and I was going to say how we are in an era now where collaboration is so important. I know, in the spiritual tribe vibes, we feel that, there's things that happen that aren't so good sometimes, or that aren't always of the highest vibration. But we have to understand that we are dealing with human beings, and
Yes,
we all are just being called to be accountable and 100% authentic to who we are, and know that no one is really perfect, but you're perfect the way you are. But when we have these flaws, and it's more of bringing it to the surface where everybody can view it. I seen something that that girl Tajari, what's her name? The actress Tahar Taraji. Is
okay,
that
yeah. Hmm.
Taraji? She was talking about how in African tribe, there's an African tribe that, when things go wrong or when people do wrong, they bring them into the circle, and for 2 days people began to speak life into them. And I
Hmm.
said, and affirm them of the good that is in them, and that they
Yes,
have just made a decision to fall off because of whatever reason. But the community is to circle around each other, right? To
yeah,
support each other, to know that there's no competition here, and that everybody's going to fall off, but you do have unique gifts. You do have treasures within you that we're waiting for. So we need people to show up and show up in their truth. And this is where I found this wellness and health and spiritual community a place where individuals can do that. It's not
right.
copying and trying to be like someone else. It's about being true to who you are, right? And
Absolutely.
knowing that your unique essence cannot be copycatted. And it's something that only you can do. So, as you said, your illness led you to one place, and that led you to someone else, and it led you to someone else. And someone was always supporting your growth
Right.
as you were seeking, right? So, I see that even as we are coming into this new space to help those who are coming up seeking, because we don't know.
Mm.
And look, when the student is ready, the teachers will appear. And you have definitely shown up in that space for my life, and I'm so grateful. And I know that there are so many other people whose lives you have touched, and this community and this tribe, it is becoming more fortified each and every day as people show up doing what they are called to do. So collaboration, partnership, finding those people, supporting your
Absolutely.
local businesses,
Yes.
supporting those that do what you need. Because there's a lot of us out here doing a lot of the work that we going and paying Sears and Macy's or whatever to offer a service, when that could be coming back into our community. That's what I really, really have a passion for, is bringing financial literacy, bringing spiritual awareness, bringing health of the mind, body, and soul back to our people. And you have definitely created a space where individuals can do that. And I am calling in all the Vibe Tribers, all the people on Facebook, Instagram, social media. If you are looking for a place to really begin to work on yourself and begin to tap into the energy of health, check out Sekhii Arts Temple and get connected with the truth of the big G in you. Okay? That would be my closing. Is there anything else that you would like to share to the audience that you would like them to know about just living life in this new age, in this true world, as we're now realizing?
Absolutely. I did forget to mention also one of our events that's coming up, which is our Sekhii reunion.
Okay.
And that's going to be September 12th through the 14th.
Mark your
It's
calendars.
open it. That's right. It's open for all the Sekhii family, friends, followers, admirers, whatever you want to call it. It's open. We're gonna have our Kemet Gala, formerly called the Kemetic Gala. We now doing Kemet Gala. And then we'll have the Feast of Sekhmet, Family Fun Day, workshops, vendors, just a beautiful spiritual weekend right here in Atlanta. And you could get that information to get your tickets now for the early bird, so you could join us there. But for our people, I would just say, take the time that you need to heal yourself. Love yourself first and love yourself fiercely. And really, make the decisions that are best for you. When I see my people spending so much money on fake nails, eyelashes, behinds, hair, lips, you know, this is a sign of mental illness and self hatred. And, thankfully, it's something that we can heal, but it's definitely something that we do need to begin to address because it's really gotten out of hand. And the monies that are being spent in other communities for these fake everything could easily be redirected back into our community to build something for ourselves and our children.
Ashe.
And so, I really want our all the sisters to really think about that and to just know that you are beautiful just the way that you are. Look at the three of us, all
Ashe.
different looks, but we all beautiful. We all
Ashe.
confident in ourselves. We express our beauty in the way that feels right for us. And that is how we always were up until about, I don't know, 20 years ago. And I just want us to come back to ourselves.
Come back to
Come
me.
back
I'm
to,
begging you,
I'm
please.
telling you,
Come back to
be
me.
true to
Yes.
yourself. Stop wearing the mask and all the fake stuff. It really does not make you any more beautiful than you already are.
Ashe.
You
And
already
and
wonderful.
we definitely understand the concept of outward beauty and what the society tells us is beautiful. But you hit it right on the head when you said, come back to yourself and love on yourself, because the inward love, what you feel about yourself on the inward will radiate on the outward. And it doesn't take a physical appearance to make you beautiful. It's your essence, it's your energy, it's how you communicate, it's how you shine in the darkness. And sometimes, these masks can be really scary.
I'm telling you.
They can be very scary, but they are also covering the ugliness underneath. So we are life coaches here. We can help you get that love energy put to the highest capacity. embracing the queen within, embracing the goddess within, embracing the essence of who you are, and then realigning with that path by the things you do. So it's beautiful to sit back and look at the beauty of women, to look at how we are survivors, we are overcomers, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And sometimes life will tell us differently, but we have to know without a doubt that we are who we are. And that's good enough. So, Sherry, do you want any closing words? You're on mute.
Thank you, Sister. I am super, super full over here. It's always good to sit at the feet of an elder, because there's so many nuggets you drop when you speak. And so to just sit here and be able to listen to you share your wisdom, your knowledge, and all the things that you've been working on is empowering to us as a community. And so if all of you are watching, you have to tap in. She has something for everyone. She has books for couples, books for children. Go to the Sekhii Art Temple website. There is a host of services, a host of information, books, literature, so that you can get in tune with yourself, so that you can understand that you have the power, and to embrace exactly who you are. This is Circle of Sisters podcast. We are the Soul Sisters speaking out and fixing crowns in the process. And we are here closing out with Sekhii's Arts Temple. Tap in on all social platforms and definitely tap in with the website. Book your service or join a retreat today. Ashe.
All right. Until next time, we are the Soul Sisters speaking out and fixing crowns in the process. Until next time, peace and love.
Peace and love. Thank you.